Hi everyone and welcome to our channel. My name is Julia Brunn and in this video I'll walk you through the Autodesk Platform Services business model, including available tiers and pricing structure. Before we begin, please note that this video was recorded in February 2026. For the most up-to-date information, please always refer to aps.autodesk.com. As I mentioned in the APS overview video, APS is a set of web service APIs and developer tools that companies use to build their own cloud applications. To use Autodesk Platform Services, you choose one of two tiers, free or paid. Let's start with the free tier. Free tier allows you to get access to all cloud APIs at no additional cost, making it ideal for experimentation and proofs of concept. One important thing to understand is that some APIs have monthly usage limits under that free tier. If your application needs to exceed those limits, you'll need to move to the paid tier. These limits apply only to select APIs, which I'll explain in more detail later in the video. Let's now move on to the paid tier. This tier is the right fit if your application needs to use select APIs beyond the monthly limits included in the free tier. The paid tier is consumption-based, meaning your costs depend on how much you use select APIs. With the paid tier, you have two payment options, prepay or pay-as-you-go. With prepay, you purchase Autodesk Flex tokens in advance. In the US, the minimum purchase is 100 Flex tokens, which currently costs $300 US. Pricing may vary depending on your country. With pay-as-you-go, you're billed monthly based on your actual API usage. In this model, you do not need to manage Flex tokens, and charges are billed directly in US dollars. I'll now walk through the pricing for each select API and explain how costs are calculated under both payment options. Let's start with the Model Derivative API. The Model Derivative API translates design files, such as Revit models, AutoCAD drawings, and IFC files, into web viewable formats. It also extracts metadata from those files, including object hierarchies, properties, and geometry, which enables detailed inspection and analysis in custom applications. In addition, the API can generate thumbnails in multiple sizes for quick previews. To demonstrate this API in action, let's look at an example. I'm going to switch to a web page. On the left, you can see a Revit model that has been converted with APS and is now displayed directly in the browser. Through the Model Derivative API, you can access both the geometry and the parameters coming from Revit, enabling interactive viewing and data-driven workflows. The Model Derivative API is one of the primary ways to extract design data from your files. Model derivative pricing is primarily based on file conversion, also referred to as translation jobs. In the free tier, you can convert 60 simple jobs and 20 complex jobs. I will explain what that means in a second. If you're using the prepay payment model, each file conversion consumes Flex tokens. For simple jobs, you are charged 1 token for every 3 translations. For complex jobs, you are charged 3 tokens for every 2 translations. Complex jobs include formats such as Revit, IFC, and Navisworks. All other supported formats are considered simple jobs. Now, if you look at the rate sheet, you'll also see a line item that charges 1 token per 300,000 API calls. This applies to model derivative operations that do not involve file translation. Examples include checking which translation formats are available or querying the status of a translation job. These calls are billed at 1 token per 300,000 requests, in addition to any tokens used for file translations. Let's move on to the Automation API. The Automation API lets you run Autodesk product engines in the cloud to execute automated jobs. It supports workloads such as batch processing design files, modifying parameters, generating drawings, extracting data, and running custom scripts or plugins. The available engines include Autodesk Revit, AutoCAD, Inventor, Fusion, and 3ds Max. Here's an example using the Automation API for Inventor, where I'm changing the parameters of a wheel directly from a web browser. So how much does it cost? One important thing to understand about the Automation API is how it works. You provide input files, such as AutoCAD drawings or Revit models. Then the service runs your custom code or script using a selected engine. When the job is complete, the output files are uploaded to the URLs you specify. Because of this, Automation API pricing is based on processing time, specifically how long the engine runs your job. In the free tier, each engine has a monthly processing limit. In the rate sheet, the usage is measured in units. Across engines, this allows for up to 300 minutes or 5 hours of processing time per month, as long as you stay within the free tier limits. In the paid tier, you're charged based on the number of processing units consumed. You can either pay 1 Flex token or $3 per unit, depending on your payment option. The duration of a unit varies by engine. For example, for AutoCAD, Inventor, and Revit, 1 unit represents 12 minutes of processing time. The same processing time pricing model also applies to another select API, the Flow Graph Engine. The Flow Graph Engine API allows developers to run compute jobs on cloud-hosted data. It's designed for cloud-based workflows that need to asynchronously execute long-running, complex, or repetitive compute tasks using available executors such as Bifrost. In the free tier, you get 5 hours of processing time per month. In the paid tier, you're charged based on processing time at 1 Flex token or $3 per hour. Let's look at the Reality Capture API. This API uses photogrammetry to generate high-resolution 3D models, point clouds, and orthophotos from photos you upload. The resulting data can be viewed and used in Autodesk products such as Recap Photo, Recap Pro, Civil 3D, and InfraWorks for visualization, analysis, and further processing. Reality Capture API pricing is based on the number of photos processed. In the free tier, you can process up to 100 photos per month. In the paid tier, you're charged 1 Flex token or $3 for every 50 photos processed. Please note that the APS business model continues to evolve. Later this year, pricing will be introduced for AEC data model and manufacturing data model APIs. All customers will continue to have limited access through the APS free tier to explore and experiment with these APIs. If you have a qualifying Autodesk product subscription, you'll receive monthly API usage included with your subscription. You can learn more from our blog post. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and if you have any further questions, you can reach out to us at aps.autodesk.com/gethelp.